Ahoy! I'm Mark,
I'm Lewis.
and this is Christ Center Life Podcast. We got on our boy Lewis Cherry, aka Big Lou, aka the Heater.
What?
I'm just making things up.
Yeah, clearly.
Well, I do call you Big Lou, though.
You do call me Big Lou.
I do call you Big Lou. So we're gonna talk about Lewis's experience at Pitt.
Yeah.
And his going through college as a faithful Catholic. He's done some pretty cool stuff. That is nothing that I ever experienced in college. So
Sure.
I wanted to learn more about that. But before we go into that stuff, I'd love to know, tell us about your family, how you grew up, your childhood,
Sure.
things like that, just to get to know you a little more.
Sure. So, grew up, like you said, in Pittsburgh, stayed in Pittsburgh my whole life, and then made my way out here to State College on a whim to marry the girl I love. But, my family I grew up Catholic, and I would say I was kind of your goody two shoes
Yeah.
type of guy. I was a rule follower.
I see it.
I believed in God, and I had a sense that I needed to please God, or that I wanted to please God, and that was faith was always important to me. But clearly, as we'll get into, college was really when my faith got in, became a part of my life. But yeah, when I was young, grew up going to mass every Sunday, the normal kind of Catholic family things. I felt like with my family, there was a little extra of cultural stuff as well, because we've come from a very Italian family. So
Okay.
the extended family. And then there was a point in middle school where I just remember a priest coming into class. I went to Catholic school for most of my life.
What's the school you went to?
St. Sebastian's. It's out in Pittsburgh. And I just remember the priest saying, "You need to pray every day." And I was like, I need to pray every day. So I did. So I would say it started off with a Hail Mary, Our Father, and a Glory Be in the shower every day. That was my prayer routine in middle school.
What age were you at this time?
Probably when I was consistently doing this, I was probably 7th, 8th grade.
7th, 8th grade. And that priest said that at a younger age, or about 7th, 8th grade? He said that.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. Somewhere in there. He had come to speak to the class. And yeah, he was just prayer every day is important.
I just love the simplicity of what, he said something so simple yet so profound that it affected you.
Yeah.
To the point where now you were starting to pray daily.
Yeah.
In the shower, but still daily.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was the
huge,
only
though.
that was the routine. It was okay, I'm getting my shower now, so that's my time to pray.
Yeah.
And so I prayed Hail Mary, Our Father, and Glory Be every single day. And then that branched off. I started saying the act of contrition in the shower, and then my showers got longer. And
started knocking. Lewis, you've been in there 2 hours. We don't have hot water anymore.
Hail Holy Queen. Yeah. I started to add all the prayers to my showers.
Now, you started that? You said 7th, 8th grade. You don't know exactly when.
Yeah.
When did that long shower start? When did the more intricate prayer life?
That was more in high school. And high school is definitely where I started to experience more of my earlier forms of reversion / conversion. I call it a reversion conversion, even though I was still maintaining my faith in some sort of fashion. It was obviously just there came a point where it just went to a whole different place.
It wasn't relational for you.
You know.
Before then.
Yeah.
Would you say that or?
I would say I was doing it because I was told I needed to do it. And I was, like I said, I was a rule follower. So that's what I kind of got into. But let's see, where can I go?
So in high school,
there.
You're in high school now.
So I'm in high school, and I feel like I probably lose my way a little bit more in high school. I start to get deeper into habitual sin, things like that. And I'm still keeping up with the prayers in the shower, for sure, throughout high school. But there was probably more of a want to try to belong to certain groups, and then just getting into, you know, romantic relationships that weren't good for me and things like that. But I had a really awesome friend group in high school. One of my friends, he is now on track to becoming a Franciscan friar.
Oh, nice.
He just
which order?
Capuchins.
Okay.
Yeah. So he just graduated his undergrad seminary. He went straight into seminary after high school, which is huge. That's crazy.
Yeah.
To like he knew in high school.
It's like this is going down.
He went straight into seminary. Finished that, and I forget. There's all the different things called like novitiate and all that. I can't remember what stage he's at, but he has his habit now, which is super cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's now in major seminary and hopefully a priest in, you know, I think like 3 years.
Okay.
So
you got 3 more years.
Yeah.
How long is that? Like, did you graduate with him?
Yeah, I graduated with him from high school. He was my age.
So that he's been in 6 years now?
You go to minor seminary.
Yeah.
And then after minor seminary, so that's
major.
like college seminary, and then you go to major.
Yeah.
I think you can skip minor seminary if you just go to regular college from the onset.
That's what I was told.
So yeah, he was a huge inspiration in high school, especially in terms of, you know, trying to become free from, you know, sin and chains that were in my life. He was super inspirational in those areas, kind of helping me and guiding me. I think one of the major turning points for me was might have been my junior year of high school. We both did the High School Musical together. And we were like our high school's musical.
Okay, I was like, this is either gonna be really cool or like really you did High School Musical, like
I mean, my high school did do High School Musical, but I was not in that one.
Okay,
I was in Grease, Into the Woods, and this other one called oh gosh, it's like Seussical.
Seussical the Musical.
Seussical the Musical.
Yeah. See,
so fun.
Luce, you're like a jack of all trades. You're literally, I swear, we learn new things every time we talk, and we've known each other for, what's it been like? How long have we known each other? It's been like a year? Has it been a year?
Yeah, probably a year.
Yeah.
Because when I started coming to our men's group, that was about
a
year ago.
Last spring?
Yeah, last spring.
Okay. I was trying to think about that.
So that's when we met.
It just feels like it's been longer.
For sure.
I don't know. Like, when we had Jeff on, I was like thinking about how long we've known
each other. But you didn't join that. You didn't join that men's group too much earlier than I did.
Right? I mean, I was in there 2 springs ago.
Okay. So
as you were.
Another year before me.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's okay.
Yeah. I needed it more than you, I would say.
So, yeah. We were backstage a junior year, so this would have been Into the Woods. And he hands me... Well, I'm not wearing it now because it broke, but he handed me my first scapular.
Oh, yeah?
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, take this, it will help.
Dude.
And so...
It's like those simple things. Like,
yeah.
That's so impactful, yet so simple. It's like, here you go.
So, he handed me my first scapular. And then I took it, and at one of our high school retreats, I had the priest who was overseeing that retreat bless it and go through me with there's like a formula to be inducted into the order of the scapular. So I had him go through with me on that. And so I've tried to wear a scapular as much as I can. There have been moments where there was a time where like my scapular broke and I just was really lazy on getting a new one. But got a new one. I actually bought this from OLV.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
was that before they started giving out the free ones?
They gave... Oh, yeah. It was before the 3... this one's better.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Does it have like... The one I got at OLV, I'm not wearing it right now. The one I got at OLV, because I would love to know what all those induction things are, because I have no idea. But it got difficult for me to wear. And it might just sound really weak. So those like metal pieces, when I like be at work and I have, a tucked-in shirt, those metal pieces would just really dig into me. I'm like, oh, geez. Do they all have the same pieces of metal on them? Like the cross and little miraculous metal?
The one that my friend gave me did not have the metal stuff. It was, although it was covered in like this like plastic film stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And that was kind of annoying. But the way I've heard it said is like they're not supposed to be comfortable. They're supposed to be sanctifying.
See, I'm just weak. That's what I'm basically hearing. I'm just being a softie.
It gets so annoying at night.
Oh yeah.
It, like goes down into my armpit.
Oh yeah. Can't find it in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, where did it go?
But yeah, I've tried to wear that, and I think that I love simple devotion. Simple devotion is just like, it's simple. And it's, I mean, the little flower is just so true when she's like, God sees the small things. So that was kind of one devotion. And then that I got into, throughout high school, my faith started to grow, and I really wanted to like fix up, my life in the areas where I was struggling. And, that's kind of where my faith really started to sprout. And then I moved on to college and found my community, which was weird because I wasn't looking for it. Even though I was getting more into my faith, I wasn't looking for that community. But God drew me there, and I fell into it.
Yeah, so what made you pick Pitt? Like, was Pitt just the default?
Oh,
because I know a lot of Pittsburgh people who are Penn State people.
Yeah.
But, like, is that you?
A lot of people from Pittsburgh want to leave Pittsburgh to get away from their parents, so they go to Penn State. But
not because it's better? Or?
No, it's not. It's really not better.
Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. Carry that on. So what made you pick Pitt?
What made me pick Pitt?
Yeah.
So
was it like the safety school after you got denied from Penn State? Or?
No, I actually got denied from Pitt first.
Are you serious?
I did.
Oh man.
I got denied from Pitt, and then my uncle wrote a letter to them. My uncle sent them a letter and just kind of building me up, being like, "Hey, you should let this kid in." And they were like, I was applying for their business school.
Okay.
Because I had big dreams, huge dreams. I'm really big into video games, so I wanted to be a marketing major.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to become like the face of Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo. Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah, I wanted to be like, like those people who stand up on stages and like be like, we have a huge announcement.
You wanted to be...
We're announcing Kirby.
Just that's it. Kirby.
Just Kirby.
Just the crowd's going nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then,
So you wanted to be Steve Jobs, basically, for
Nintendo. Yeah, or for Nintendo fans, Reggie Fils-Aimé was my inspiration.
I don't know who that is.
He was the face of Nintendo. He's no longer. He was
with us. He's dead.
No, he's not. He quit. I think he's now the person in his position. His name's Bowser, which is great for Nintendo.
No way, dude.
No, seriously.
That's not the guy's name.
Yeah,
There's no
is.
way that's the guy's name.
That is the guy's name.
Does that not sound ridiculous? His name's there's no.
Yes.
His parents said, we're naming this kid Bowser.
I believe his. Well, I don't know if it's his first name. I think it might be his last name. But his name's Bowser, and that's perfect for Nintendo. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that was my dream.
To be Bowser.
To be Bowser. And I don't know. That has nothing to do with me wanting to go to Pitt. That was just my dream job.
It was good to hear the dream.
Yeah. But Pitt was the first school that I visited. I have family history at Pitt.
It's a good school.
My grandfather went to Pitt Medical School. That's where he became a doctor. My Nana was a professor at Pitt.
Oh, wow.
In their biomedical statistics department for the grad students. And then my dad and all his brothers are Pitt, and I think all their wives went to Pitt too. My mom went to Pitt. So huge family legacy. I mean, we're a huge Pitt family. At Christmas, everyone gets at least one Pitt themed gift, probably, and we sing the Pitt fight song.
Oh my god!
When people open up their gifts, like
every single time.
So like
I don't know actually.
Well, that's the Pitt fight song.
Do you sing the whole thing in its entirety every time somebody opens a gift? I feel like that.
We have to shorten it. So usually it's I forget. I forget.
You're forgetting it.
I forget how long we do it for. Hey, that's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we yell the hey, and then the hey is like, guys, we're not continuing the song.
Okay.
Like we need to open up the rest of the gifts because we'll sing it.
Dude, that would take hours.
It does take hours. You have no clue. It takes hours.
We're dedicating time for this.
This is when the whole extended family gets together to give gifts to each other. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, huge Pitt family. We end up singing that song like 50 times throughout the night. So
to say the least, you kind of fans of Pitt, like
we're
a little bit,
of,
just low key fans.
I don't like them that much, actually.
Don't wear the colors much.
I actually didn't buy student tickets my senior year. I feel bad about that.
Oh yeah.
I should have bought student tickets.
I feel like that means you're not dedicated.
I think I lost my last chance to see Pitt and Penn State play.
Oh wow. Well, never to be heard from again.
Yeah, never. Unfortunately. So yeah. I have a legacy. So I visited Pitt and I was just enthralled with Pitt from the beginning. Mm-hmm. That was like my top choice. My second choice was Villanova.
Oh, that's a good school
I really enjoyed Villanova.
It's where my brother got his master's, actually. And his wife. But,
that's cool. Yeah. Nice.
The one that lives in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah. I really liked Villanova too. I wanted to go there as well. But really wanted to go to Pitt. My uncle ended up being like, hey, my nephew is awesome. Like, you should have him. Mm-hmm. Because they wanted to send me to Pitt Johnstown. I was like,
oh, bro. No.
I didn't want Johnstown. I wanted main campus in Oakland.
Yeah.
And they're lucky, excuse me, that they got me. Like, I graduated with a 3.8 GPA. Okay.
There you go.
They got me.
They're so lucky.
No, that's hardly my proudest achievement of college, because the way I describe it is like School was my side gig at college.
I know you keep saying it like talking about the Fratican stuff.
I mean, yeah. So the Fratican,
All right, so let's start this out.
You
go to Pitt.
Newman Club. Yeah, that was my main project at school.
That was basically your life, and then going to college was secondary.
Yeah. College was totally secondary, and people who say that you can't maintain good grades and do all this other stuff at the same time. Oh my gosh. You just have to be organized and disciplined.
I was in 5 clubs, 2 NCAA sports and a club sport. And then I had a 3.85.
Not to mention, I mean, it is hard for certain people. People have different thresholds and stuff, but God gives the grace.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm exceptionally intelligent, but you know, you learn to manage time.
Especially for me, like in college, it was like, God's not going to let me ruin my whole life if I spend 1 hour with him in the chapel. Mm-hmm. Like, 1 hour in the chapel, he's going to... Is
that daily?
Eventually, for sure, yeah. Eventually, 1 hour in the chapel daily was what I was doing.
Okay, let's kind of like start it.
We can start from the beginning.
Yeah, you were going to Pitt. How long did it take you to get involved with, like... You call it the Newman Club or the oratory?
Newman Club, oratory, the Pittsburgh oratory. Just to get this is the thing that our Newman Club is based out of at Pitt. The oratory.
Yeah, do you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, because it's a little weird to explain. Mm-hmm. Because it's like a religious order, but it's not a religious order. So they are what are called secular priests. And a secular priest is your normal everyday priest. Mm-hmm. They're priests that serve the secular community. Religious are not secular priests. Mm-hmm. So they are secular priests, but they're not a part of the diocese of Pittsburgh. They live in community with each other. And they don't take vows. So they don't take the vows of chastity, poverty, and what's the third one?
Obedience, I think.
Obedience. So chastity, poverty, and obedience. They do not take those vows. Whereas they do take the promise of celibacy, which is what every diocesan priest takes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So chastity is a little more strong. Like the vow of chastity is stronger than the promise of celibacy. So they're like diocesan priests in the sense that...
Similar promises.
Yeah, similar promises and the communities that they're serving. Mm-hmm. But they're not like diocesan priests in the sense that they live in community with each other. Mm-hmm. And they're not bound to stay with that community forever. You know?
They could like go to... Because I know the Oratorians have a parish where my sister lives near Rock Hill.
Well, no, not even go to a new oratory. They could go to join a diocese or...
So they could just like free...
Yeah, obviously it's going to be a huge decision to leave.
Yeah. They could like be a hermit priest basically if they wanted.
I mean, yeah, they could if they wanted. I don't know how they'd get into that.
I don't even know how that works, to be honest.
But so that's what the Pittsburgh Oratory is, and there's I don't know how many priests are there now. They just ordained a priest this past weekend. Mm-hmm. And they ordained a priest I think a year ago. So I think that brings us to a total of maybe like 6, 7, or 8 priests that they have dedicated to serving not just Pitt, but also just...
Carnegie Mellon too, right?
Carnegie Mellon and Carlow University, but also just the adult community that lives in the Pittsburgh area.
So do they have their own little parish nearby, or how do...
They don't have a parish, no. They have a chapel that's located in the place where they live.
Okay. And is that on or right next to Pitt's campus?
It's basically on Pitt's campus. It's on the edge of Pitt's campus.
How big is that chapel?
It's not huge. It probably fits maybe like if you fill the whole chapel as well as the like, what is that called? Like,
I don't know.
the
Rectory?
place outside of the chapel before you enter.
I know it. The narthex.
Maybe, I don't know. This is kind of like the front entrance.
Yeah, the narthex.
Where like the desk is located, which I used to work the front desk of the oratory. If you filled the whole thing, you'd probably fit maybe like 70 to 100 people.
Oh, okay.
But the chapel itself, maybe like 50.
Oh, wow. That's tiny.
That's squishing people in there.
Wow.
Like really squishing people in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you oratorians operating at Pitt, and
yeah.
So you got on campus. How long did it take you to get involved with Newman Club, the oratory?
So I get accepted to Pitt, and I start receiving like, you know how like when you fill in like entrance forms, and they're like, do you have a religion that you identify with? I put on my form Catholic. So I started, before I started school, I actually got like mail that was like, come see the oratory, come to our Newman week. It's like the first week of school.
Yeah.
They just throw a bunch of like events and parties, and it's so fun.
Dude, that sounds amazing.
It's so cool.
Dude,
but it was like my mom hands me this advertisement that we got for the mail for their Newman week, and it was like root beer pong. I'm like, no, Mom, I'm not playing root beer pong. That's so weird.
That sounds odd.
No, it was root beer pong is a lot of fun. It's great.
You ended up actually playing root beer pong.
Yeah, I did. I played a lot of root beer pong.
Defied what you said to your mom.
I did defy my mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I am a failure. No. I played pong.
I have a problem with root beer pong. It keeps me up at nights. Oh, man.
So root beer pong was
beer pong with root beer.
Wasn't into that. So I didn't go my first week there. But you know, I'm still practicing my faith. So I'm like going to mass, going to confession, things like that. I'm probably going to confession like twice, like 2 times, or what is it? Once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm going, it's 2 times a day, which you could,
wait.
You could do.
Like you went 2 times a day or bi-weekly?
I went bi-weekly.
Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, did he just say you went twice a day?
No, but you could go twice a day because there's like 5 options for confession.
That's cool. That's
at
awesome.
Pitt.
That's
it's
great.
Crazy. Every single day. Every day.
Man, that's like...
It's amazing.
That's the thing you were just describing.
I was spoiled.
Yeah. Dude, that's like... Pitt's got Penn State beat with that already. Just because at Penn State, something happened where now they can't even send incoming freshmen or anything letters about, hey, check out the Paterno Faith Center or any of that stuff.
Really?
Yeah. The Penn State administration just stopped all religions from sending anything to incoming freshmen.
That's rough.
Yeah, they used it as like a scapegoat. Some non-denominational group sent them to everybody because they're like, we don't recognize denominations. And so they kind of spammed all faithful people.
Okay.
And so then Penn State's used that as an excuse. They're like, okay, we can no longer do this for anybody, but send us stuff and we'll send them for you. And then they just didn't. It's like...
That's weird.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Sucks.
But
anyway. Yeah, was going confession every 2 weeks, and I remember a priest in confession once. He was just like, "Hey, you know, there's a great group of guys around here. Like, we have this event. It used to be called Catholic Action. It's no longer called that. It was Sunday evening. We go to the bottom of St. Paul Cathedral in Oakland, which is the cathedral for the Diocese of Pittsburgh. In the basement there'd be pizza.
Oh, nice.
And a talk from one of the priests. And then fellowship afterwards, just talking to people. And, I started to meet some people. I started to go to that every Sunday, but that was pretty much my only involvement at that point, was just going to Catholic Action. It is probably like October of my freshman year.
Okay. A few months in.
So a few months in, I didn't seek it out really. I just kind of started going, and then met a guy, and he was like, "Hey, you want to come to my Bible study?"
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so I started going to, well, he kept inviting me. I was like, "Yeah, I'll come."
And then never came.
And then one time I was like, "Dude, yeah, I'll come." And I slept through it.
Wait, you went there and slept, or just slept through and never went?
No, I fell asleep in my dorm
and
just never went.
I bet he was like, this guy keeps skirting me. I don't know why he just doesn't tell me, hey, I'm not interested.
But I did eventually go to this Bible study. Yeah. And then I started to really make friends. I started to hang out at the Newman Center because,
it's where the cool kids are at.
Students are hanging out there almost all the time. They have a beautiful study room that you can use.
Yeah.
Pool table,
nice.
Television, foosball, all the good stuff. So I'm just starting to hang out. Also, I got really good at pool.
Oh yeah.
In college,
dude,
super good at pool.
I love pool. Pool's one of those sports. I don't know. It's really cool if you're able to be good at pool.
I had a little bit of a reputation for my pool skills.
Just scam people, classic pool.
Yeah, except for
pretend like you're bad.
Except for then we would have pool tournaments, and I was a favorite, and I'd lose instantly. I crash under pressure.
Oh my
These are month-long tournaments with giant brackets.
Dude, that's so cool.
And everything.
That's so dope.
So that was super fun.
So was your Bible study leader just somebody there? Or?
Yeah, so I mean, it was another student. He was running it with another student, and it was through Focus. It was a Focus.
Okay, it was a Focus Bible study.
Focus Bible study, and they were the leaders for it. And yeah, it was two of them leading it, and it was just a really good thing for me to explore my faith and get to know people and have friends and things like that.
How was that Bible study structured? Did you guys?
Yeah, so we'd go into the Bible study, and
oh my god,
we would sometimes do a Focus-led Bible study. Focus has pre-made up Bible studies that you can use to draw from, or we would just choose a book that we wanted to read, and we'd go in and we'd read through our passage, and then we just talk about it, just have questions, just what stood out to us, what did we think about it, and that was always really fun because that was huge for building my intellectual faith. That was definitely I would say the community at Pitt is very geared towards just very intellectually stimulating conversations about the faith. So you learn a lot. I had most of my catechesis in college.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. I had intuitions about things growing up, and things just made sense, and that was the Holy Spirit and God's grace working in on me. But intellectually grounding my faith happened in college, and that's where my catechesis happened.
Yeah, I feel like that's something kind of everybody feels. I don't know. That was definitely my experience. I mean, less so in college, but kind of had these, you were saying, intuitions about things where you get to college and you're having conversations and you're sorry. You kind of stand your ground on some Catholic principles, and you don't quite know why, but you're no, this makes sense.
Yeah, and I was actually pretty progressive in high school on certain issues.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, gay marriage. I was ambivalent. I took. There was a point in my life where I took a very libertarian stance on a lot of things. There was even a point in time where I was like kind of against the March for Life. Not because I wasn't pro-life, but because I'm like, that's not doing anything. It doesn't have any utility to it. I'm like...
Oh, yeah. It's like, it does.
It's like, it does.
Yeah.
I was just like, you're not really doing anything. And so I was kind of stupid in high school like that.
I feel like we all are stupid.
Yeah.
I memorized this. It was like this. There was a brief period where I was really into the environment, and I memorized because I watched it so many times. I memorized this video about the planet and the Earth and pollution and stuff, and I would just literally just regurgitate exactly what I heard to it to my brother, and he'd be like, "Mark, you're dumb. What you're saying makes no sense whatsoever."
Yeah, and again
with it does, man. The Earth.
With gay marriage, for me, it was as long as they don't get me involved and as long as they don't force the church to marry people, I'm fine with it. They do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Now I'm less libertarian and a lot more conservative. I started to actually intellectually get things in college, and also, there was also a point in time where I was just I wanted to be staunch conservative on everything. And then I realized, well, that's not Catholic either.
Yeah. Because because I feel like if you really want to live an authentic Catholic life and adhere to Catholic social teaching and all of what the faith proclaims, you really are not only in the conservative box or only in the liberal box. It's not possible because that's not...
I mean, the church allows for diversity of thought on certain areas. Obviously, you have to maintain the tenets of, marriage between man and woman, pro-life, things like that. But, economy, how our economy should be run, social programs...
Subsidiarity.
I mean, we need more Catholic social teaching.
Yeah.
And a lot of conservatives, I don't think, would be down for some of the things that Catholic social teaching tends to say. I think subsidiarity is one of those things.
I think conservatives would lean more towards subsidiarity.
Maybe.
It's at the basic...
It depends on what type of conservative, level. Because you have those conservatives who are really... Their whole thing is about being fiscally conservative. So they're all about, corporations and helping, because corporations that are running well means good economy. And to what expense are we allowing those? Because regulation is needed.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too off topic, but I mean, regulation is needed. It's just...
At what level?
We don't need all the regulation. But I feel like they would favor corporations because those are the things that are providing jobs. Of course, they're going to want to help any kind of business, so small businesses as well. Yeah. But I don't think they have the inkling to say that you know what? I think Amazon has overstepped its bounds.
Yeah.
On
a lot of things.
What it should be doing in our economy and the amount of voice it has in our nation.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, to get back on topic, sorry.
Yeah.
So you're starting to go to Pitt. You're getting involved in Bible studies and stuff. So you're saying you're getting more into your faith and grounded in an intellectual way. When did you guys start the Fratican? Because we've heard a lot about, if you know Lewis at all.
Yeah,
the Fratican. Brings up the Fratican and, was it Tilbury?
Tilbury, the Fratican, the Manor, and now Talitha as well.
Talitha.
Those are the 4 Catholic housing situations that we have at Pitt currently.
Yeah, and heard a lot about Fratican.
Yeah.
That's the most one definitely I've heard about.
So at Pitt, there's this very special situation where, there's just a ton of people who want to live out their faith, and they want to live it out together, and they want to do it in community with each other.
That's so beautiful.
And so they just start houses, and they give them these weird names, and it's a community, and it's, it's not a formal thing in the sense that,
it's run by the Newman Group, or
that the Newman Group is sponsoring it, or that Pitt is sponsoring. Excuse me. But it is formal in the sense that, like, you know, it's structured. We have, like, requirements of our members in the sense that, like, you need to be living life to a certain standard.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
We have meetings with each other, you know, to discuss our faith lives together, to discuss, you know, just Fratican business that is going to, like, are we throwing a party this weekend, guys? Like, what are we doing? And, you know, who's taking care of the kitchen for house cleaning this weekend? You know, so Fratican, you know, it was formal in the sense that, you know, we recruited our members. We asked people to come and join and apply for the Fratican. And
it's an exclusive group, sounds like.
I mean, but we don't want it to be so exclusive where it's like we don't want to be cliquey, but we do want to find guys who fit in with the particular kind of mission I feel like the Fratican is trying to purvey. I've always kind of seen the Fratican as, you know, the Fratican wants to really live the life of what a normal fraternity on a campus would live, but in a virtuous way. True fraternity. And virtuously. And building each other up and making each other better. And that was kind of our goal, and just trying to, you know, get guys that we felt like mesh well with the current guys that live there, you know, things like that. But of course, like, we make friends with everyone within the club, and everyone is always welcome over to the Fratican.
So that started before you came there, or did you help start that particular house?
I did not help start that particular house. I think I came in the second year it was a thing.
Okay.
So it started, I think, my freshman year, and it was started by, I believe, a Focus missionary by the name of Josh Fatzinger.
Oh, Fatzinger.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know the Fatzinger.
I think I met Josh.
Everyone knows the Fatzingers.
I know the Fatzingers.
Everyone knows them.
I think I met Josh at the recruitment. The recruitment weekend we had in, I think it was Washington.
And then a couple of other guys. They were living in a nice, giant, basically frat house. Very cool. And yeah, they started this group my freshman year. So obviously I didn't know about it my freshman year, so I didn't go into it or anything. But my sophomore year, or end of my freshman year, one of the guys was like, "Hey, we're looking for guys for the Fratican. You seem like you'd be great. You wanna apply?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll think about that. That sounds cool." I actually wasn't sure if I was going to do it because, so, you know, Patrick, my friend Pat, the guy who is the godfather of my daughter. He originally, we've gone to school our entire life together. We met in third grade, and we've been best friends since third grade. And he was my best man at my wedding. I was his best man. That's awesome. Like, we just have the most blessed relationship in the world. So we went to school together from third grade all the way through high school. And then he goes off to Grove City College, and then I go to Pitt, and he does not like Grove City at all.
So he comes to Pitt.
So he moves to Pitt. He moves to Pitt after his freshman year. We were planning to live together, to be roommates. And I was like, we should get a dorm together, you know, things like that. But also there's this Fratican thing. And I was like, "Hey guys, can he join?
My boy
can he join the Fratican?" And so he did.
Dude, that's awesome.
He did. And he was just kind of getting into his faith too around this point in time as well, you know. I don't. Yeah, he was getting all into that as well, and that was kind of part of the reason why he left Grove City. Is the faith community just wasn't good there for, especially because Grove City is a very like.
I don't know much.
It's a Christian college. It's one of the most. It's like the second most conservative college in the country or something like that. It's also where Scott Hahn went, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that rings a bell. Yeah. But, anyway, so you guys get in the Fratican your sophomore year?
Yeah. So he's actually becomes my roommate my sophomore year. Mm-hmm. And that was really great. A lot of growth in our relationship together. You know, I'd never roomed with him before, so that was you learn a whole new side of people, but it's great.
Your best friend
grew a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I get invited and I applied and I got Pat to come live in the Fratican with me, and the rest was history. And
how many guys live in the Fratican or lived in that particular house?
That's a loaded question.
Is it? Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty basic question. I'm looking for a number here.
No,
I feel like this is a basic question.
You'll get a crazy answer. So, the Fratican used to live in basically a frat house. Yeah. And then
naturally,
I don't remember what happened. I think the zoning changed on the house, so they had to find a new place. Oof. And so then we got the year that I enter. They score a deal with the PAA, the Pittsburgh Athletic Association.
Legendary.
This is legendary. Yes, of course. The legendary PAA. Yeah, they're doing very well. And they had a lot of rooms to fill. So we had like 20 guys.
20 guys?
20
that's not as much as I thought it'd be.
20 to 22 guys. Okay. A good amount of guys. Yeah. We've downsized since. It's now 7 guys.
7 guys per house.
At our current place. Yeah. At our current place, because we no longer live in the PAA. Yeah. But it was 20 guys at the time. And so that was pretty crazy, but it was great to like get to know a lot of cool guys. Mm-hmm. Not all of them ended up staying within the Fratican once we left the PAA and downsized a little bit. Mm-hmm. But so I was in the Fratican from my sophomore year all the way through my super senior year, my grad year. So I lived there for 4 years.
Super senior, you were.
I did a 1-year grad program.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, that doesn't sound like this.
It was basically super senior because like my grad program was just extended undergrad. Okay. I mean, the whole point, is it was master's in accounting. Only 1 year. Yeah. The whole point is to get you those credits to sit for the CPA exam. Okay,
that makes sense.
So
what were some things that really helped you grow your faith in college? Like, what were some tangible things? Did you said you went to confession every other week. Did you go to adoration much? Did you go to daily mass? What were those things that really started to get you on fire with your faith?
Yeah. I would say, of course, I think it was one of those first times I went to confession at the oratory, because that's where I was going. That's the place I found when I was looking for confession times to go to when I was first entered college. The oratory has 24/7 adoration.
Oh, nice.
Or at least it did when I was there. I don't. They have to maintain, like a list of scheduled adorers, which is great when you live on a college campus, because there are plenty of students up in the middle of the night to do adoring. So
that's awesome though. Like, I remember the first time I kind of came across 24-hour adoration was when I was in college at the Citadel. We didn't have it. But I remember going to a parish
that
on the weekends.
There's a parish that had 24 hours.
Oh yeah, they were like, they'd always talk about it at mass. Like, they'd make announcements. Yeah. And there was a few of them. There's actually a lot of Catholic churches in Charleston, South Carolina. But
I love Charleston. Is that where the Citadel is?
Yeah, it's I love down Charleston. In the peninsula. Like, so it's walking distance here on King Street.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nestled in there. But yeah, there's a lot of great Catholic churches there, and I ran into a few that were like, 24 adoration if you want to come in, sign up. And I was like, oh, whoa, what's that? That sounds cool. I don't even know what adoration was at the time.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I knew what adoration was at the time.
I didn't.
But I go to confession, and they have adoration going on, and I'm like, I know this is the Eucharist.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it was the most, like, I just remember sitting there in the back pew waiting in line for confession, and like the light was shining in through the windows and it was glimmering, and things, like for a moment the world stood still.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and it just felt like peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that being like my first like real experience of adoration, and the world just like stopped before me, and I felt peace, and I was going to confession, and it was just so beautiful. So I get into that. It starts off getting into my faith with all the friendship. That's where it really started for me, was friendship. And then getting into the Fratican and building my friendship there. And then, like, after getting friends and being like, friends talking to you and being like, you should really be praying.
Yeah. And having that, like, accountability.
Not even just, like, it wasn't even, like, accountability. It was just, like, it was just, like, friends saying, like...
Hey,
like...
trying to help you out.
Like, yeah. Like,
a faithful encouragement thing. Like, hey,
yeah.
Like, ever think about praying more?
Like, friends just saying, like, there's nothing stopping you from praying 1 hour a day. Like, it's possible. Like, I know you don't feel like it's possible, but it's possible. And so I didn't start out with 1 hour a day. I mean, the other thing is, I lived in a dorm, and I got really into the rosary my freshman year, and I prayed every single day my rosary. And I'd listen to Schubert's Ave Maria.
Oh, dude, that's great. Yeah.
Prayed my rosary, and I'd leave my dorm room door open so that people saw that I was praying, and like wanting them to come in and be like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah. No,
I wish I was. Something I want to grow in is just being as bold as that, because I was so on fire at that point, and I just wanted.
Yeah, you could have like knocked on people's door. Hey, I'm praying the rosary. You want to join me?
Yeah, but so like friends like encouraging you, like praying every day is possible, and praying even an hour every day is very possible, and it's something that you should
look into,
try and do. Going to mass every single day is possible. You should think about it. And so it was a build up for sure, but eventually, I just wanted to grow that faith. I had a relationship that I was building with God, and I wanted to build that. I wanted him to come into my life and heal my wounds. I wanted him to, bring grace into my life. And prayer became very much a part of pursuing that. And then it did get to a point where, like, I can pray an hour every day. That's possible. And it's like, I could use this extra hour to study, but like, look, I've studied so much. If I get a B instead of an A because I took an hour to pray, and then like, I would pray before exams and be like, God, whatever I get on this exam, it's not my grade, it's your grade.
Dude, that's so beautiful.
And just, I wanted God to have everything. And I feel like I've lost a little bit of that. It's been a hard thing moving from Pittsburgh to Penn State. Is I've just felt that, like, I was spoiled. This is like my desert. Yeah. This is me, like the desert fathers coming out into the desert right now. And I am so much not as good as I thought I was. But it's good that I'm experiencing this and
humility,
getting to learn and try to grow more.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you say that, because like, this is like the peak for me. Like, like college was kind of like a desert. Like, we had mass every Sunday at 7 p.m. and that was it. There was I mean, we had like our Catholic campus ministry. We had like Mondays and Thursdays, but it really wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't that.
The oratory when I was there, they had like an 8 a.m. mass, a 5 p.m. mass, and a 9 p.m. mass during the school year, as well as 3 different times for confession throughout the day for every single day of the week.
That's awesome.
And then we had St. Paul Cathedral right down the block from the oratory, so there were probably 2 masses a day at St. Paul Cathedral you could go to. I went to the noon 05 at St. Paul quite often, and they had like plenty of options for confession as well. So the sacraments were just so widely available. And that was the big thing. That's what drew me in, were the sacraments. Being able to spend time in adoration with the Blessed Sacrament.
That's important.
The sacraments are absolutely, I think, like what made me stay. Like the friendship was great. I love that. But then I started to discover the sacraments on a deeper level. And that's where, like, I was like, yeah, I should try to go to Mass every day. And so there were definitely, I'd miss every once in a while, or I'd miss a holy hour every once in a while. But in general, by the end of my college career, I was
pretty consistent.
I was praying an hour in the chapel every single day, and going to Mass every single day. During my master's program, it was a little harder because I had 8,000 credits of classes plus an internship. But I still made it to Mass at 8 a.m. before my internships and before classes.
Dude, that's awesome.
So that was good. And then on the days I didn't work at the internship, I prayed holy hours as well.
Dude.
So those were good.
That is so beautiful. Like, I remember me and Kendra would go to daily Mass in the summer. Because during the year I can't because of work, and
I want to get back into it so bad.
Dude, it's so important. Like, it's really so.
I've been lazy.
We've all been lazy.
My desert has brought out the fact, like, because the oratory made it so available to me.
Yeah, and now you got to kind of work.
Now I have to work harder for it, and that's hard.
2 minutes down the road.
Yeah, drive 2 minutes down the road.
It's a massive hurdle.
I had to walk longer to get to the chapel.
That's funny. But yeah, it really is now, because you're in a different situation. You're working, but daily masses was so huge for my faith development. Like last summer, just going every single day, because it really forced me to watch what I was doing, because I'd be like, shoot, I can't receive today, until I go to confession. And then really, that was like it for me. I was like really forced to look at myself and my shortcomings and be like, all right, Mark, you're really not doing much, and you need to do something, because you're going like 4 days of daily Mass where you're just going up there with the old arms crossed.
You could stay in the pew.
I know. But
also, I don't think we shouldn't be ashamed of, not having to receive.
I know. No,
because it's not like it's the right thing to do if you're in mortal sin. Yeah. But also like the point of Mass is not what do I get out of it, but how do I love God through it. And that's hard. I struggle with that. For sure.
That is so true, though. Like we're not even required to take the Eucharist but once a year.
Yeah, once a year, which
Easter.
is crazy.
Yeah, they're like, well, we're not here for you.
Once a year during the Easter season.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to be during the Easter season.
So not at Easter, it just has to be during the season.
During the Easter season, I believe. I don't think it has to be at Easter.
I guess that'd probably make more sense. I don't know. But anyway, so you said daily Mass and your holy hour every day. That sounds pretty good. Yeah. Looks
can be deceiving. Yeah. I wasn't the holiest person around.
But those are good things to start with.
They're good to start with. They brought a lot
of really good to
lot of grace.
With. If I was praying an hour every day, I'd be in a better spot now. Like, I'd get my rosary in usually every day, but sometimes not.
Sure.
But yeah, those are some really good stuff. So, like, what would bring us through a daily life, a day in the life of Louis Cherry at the Fratican?
At the Fratican, oh my God!
At the Fratican,
there are things I can't tell you.
Again, like I love how you just make it this ominous thing. Where like, I can't tell you anything, actually. I just brought this up, and I'm here to talk about this exact thing, but I can't even give you an example of a day in the life
at
of
the
Lucy.
Fratican stays at the Fratican.
This is not Vegas.
It's not Vegas, but it is the Fratican.
It's going to be more secretive than the Knights of Columbus.
No, we got crazy at night.
Louis Cherry going crazy, I feel like that's like...
No, but this is what I mean, like...
What is that, like D&D?
No, actually, I don't think the Fratican ever played D&D.
Oh, yeah?
There were some members of the Fratican who... Tilbury plays D&D for sure.
Yeah.
There are some members of the Fratican that did play D&D, but they would go over to Tilbury to play D&D. It wouldn't necessarily be at the Fratican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day in the life, Louis Cherry, Fratican. Go.
Yeah, okay. So wake up at 6 a.m.
Okay.
Right?
Get sleeping. That's
this
nice.
is probably like during like my senior year, like peak Fratican. Because like I said, we had the PAA. We can get into that story a little later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
And then we had a diaspora for a little bit, so the Fratican was kind of disjointed a little bit, and then we all came back together under one roof again, my senior year, and we've had the same house ever since, which is great.
How many? So you said you have 7 now?
7. It's been consistently 7 since my senior year.
Okay. Do they want to grow it? Do they want to keep it that size?
It's a good size, I think, because that's what the house basically fits.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a good size for now. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're looking into.
Yeah.
But,
retired from
we like the place, I think. And I'm sure the landlord super happy to have people cycling in and out, you know.
That are, like, respecting their property.
Mm-hmm,
and not
yeah,
doing crazy
we're not
things.
Like crazy college
like breaking
kids.
Windows and being loud. That's why I feel like Catholics would be like devout Catholic students would be like the best tenants ever.
Well, see, okay, so this was what I was gonna say is like we were living the fraternity thing, like we were crazy in our own like kind of virtuous way, you know, but it was still crazy and things that are, you know, it would reveal secrets.
What do you mean secrets?
Like hanging out in our underwear and stuff. You know, like
that's just like guys.
Yeah, it's guys being guys.
That's like college, you know, like that's how it was at the barracks. Like, yeah, we're in the large, the large in the barracks.
I have this photo. I have this photo of me. One of my Fratican roommates gave me this shirt he bought.
Oh, no.
I think in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. He says, "Keep one rolled."
I don't even get it.
Keep one rolled like
Jamaican. Gotcha.
Jamaican. Yeah, keep one rolled. It was all in Jamaican colors and stuff. My God. There's a photo of me wearing that shirt. It's gigantic on me, and I have a snapback on, and I just a scraggly beard, and I look.
Yeah, you're fitting the t-shirt.
Yeah, it looks, but I wasn't stoned, and it was virtuous.
Yeah, because
it was virtuous.
You're Louis Cherry, of course you're not stoned.
Yeah,
Nor should anybody be.
Exactly. But so like weird and crazy things, kind of like that.
Yeah.
So I'd wake up at
respectable.
6. You know, I'd start my day, get breakfast, things like that. Mm-hmm. Go to class, stuff like that, and then hang out in the Newman Center.
Well, daily mass wasn't a part of the daily grind.
Well, I mean I would usually do that later in the day because I
thought you said 8 a.m. Was that at 8 p.m.? They
have an 8 a.m. That wasn't my normal. Other than when I was in my internship, then I was going to the 8 a.m. quite often because I had to, and I had like 4 night classes. The entire week.
Dude, those are rough. I remember, I had like this night. It was like, I think it was twice a week. And it was like, or maybe it was once a week. I can't remember. But I had to leave like football practice for my senior year. And it was 2.5 hours of geography.
Yeah.
It was like my geo class, my senior year. And it was 2.5 hours with this. Our professor was a great guy, but like he would just put me to sleep. And there's like my Marine buddy who was there. he's a vet. He taught me a cool way of staying awake where you put everyone had knives on them.
Okay.
Wow. And so like he would just pull out his K-bar and he just rested it on his like thigh, and then you put your hand on top of the pointy end, because if you fall asleep you're gonna push your hand in it. Oh. So it worked though. Like I stayed awake. You're just like, okay, I'm not falling asleep. I don't know. Just one of those small tricks you find.
Yeah. So classes, hanging out in the Newman Center, doing work at the Newman Center, doing work at home, normal college things. Yeah. And then I'd always fit into that day, usually the 5:15 mass or the 9 p.m. mass I would go to, and then do my holy hour. Then sometimes I do my holy hours during the middle of the day. It really all depended because schedules change throughout college where your classes are located.
Your Tuesday is different than your Monday.
Yeah, so just working to find all that in, and then hanging out with friends and people. Certain specific events that would always tend to happen were we had what was called the Holy Hat Trick, which was on nice. Wednesday nights. We would do mass at 9 p.m.
Okay.
Adoration after mass for like 45 to an hour, and there would usually be confession during it, and then a group of students would go to this restaurant out in Oakland called Fuel and Fuddle, which is like late night bar type.
Yeah.
But it's sit down and great food.
Yeah, it's not some sort of club.
Awesome craft beers and
that's cool.
Things like that. So that was the Holy Hat Trick. So do
nice.
That on Wednesdays, and I spent so much money going to Fuel and Fuddle because I went like every week.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Dude, that's kind of fun though. Like
it was so fun.
Like finding virtuous ways to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
and then you'd be like sitting there with people, and you'd get into like drinking your beer.
And now you're in like theological conversation.
Eating this thing called a hog heaven, which was like 3 different types of pork.
Oh my god.
On a Kaiser bun, with like a horseradish chipotle sauce on the side. It was so freaking good.
That sounds really good.
And then just talking about like, hey, I'm not like I remember having a conversation with a Focus mission. We were talking about like,
is this Fatsinger?
No, this wasn't Fatsinger. His name's Andy Thompson. I don't know if he's with.
You referred him.
Yeah. We were talking about, he was like trying to make the case to me like, yeah, I don't think monogamous marriage is a part of the natural law. I think that's divinely revealed. And he was making that case to me. And it was interesting.
That's interesting. And it's not like offensive because he's still saying monogamous relationships is what we're supposed to do.
Monogamous relation, no doubt in his mind that's like what we're made for.
The question was,
is
it divinely or is it natural law?
Or is it a part of natural law?
Yeah. Just wanted to clarify that for
so anybody. That was like, you get into really cool and interesting.
That is a really interesting conversation, though.
Conversations like that.
So we were just talking. Me and Jeff were talking to the Mormons yesterday.
Oh,
did I ever tell you? Did I tell you about that?
We basically lived next to the Mormon church.
Oh yeah.
I walked through the Mormon parking lot to get to my house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we got stopped all the time.
Oh my gosh, dude, it was a really good conversation with these two guys. Like, it was really charitable, and they were really nice and stuff. And we talked about, we didn't even get to that stuff. The polyamory and what all I
don't think most
stuff.
Mormons believe in that though.
But I mean, it's like part of their doctrine.
Sure.
Like Joseph, like doing research for this. Joseph Smith. Guess how many wives that man had?
How many?
30. Ranging from 14 years old to
gosh,
40 something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he did some bad things to some young people.
I can imagine.
It's like, come on, son. Anyway, that was I don't even know how.
That's a conversation killer.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a good conversation with the Mormons. They're really good people. More research I've done into this, the less it makes sense. Anyway, carry on.
That was our experience as well. So Fuel and Fuddle, that was an awesome event. Fratican threw parties, Tilbury threw parties, Manor, Talitha, all the houses would throw parties. So like there were parties all the time. Mm-hmm. Went to a lot and super fun, super virtuous.
Yeah.
But also not like weird and like nerdy and like
hello friends.
I mean okay. Tilbury parties are great, but they were nerdy. And they were awesome.
They were nerdy and awesome.
They were very nerdy and awesome.
Oh man. So what's the difference between the Fratican and Tilbury?
Okay. Oh my god.
What are some differences here?
No, you're asking this to me purely. No.
What? What are you talking about?
You're trying to get me to say something bad.
No, I'm not. I want to know the difference.
No.
Seriously.
Yeah. No.
What's the difference?
No. Tilbury is their own thing and we're our own thing, and we don't try to be each other. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. And uniqueness. That's what we mean by you know, wanting to find guys that fit our particular community and aspect.
Fit the mold.
And Tilbury has their quirkiness and they're very goofy and like just like they're fun people to be around. Yeah. And like that's what I mean. Like
different kind of
their parties were nerdier probably than our parties,
but that's just the way they liked it.
That's the way they like it, and they're awesome. And some of my best friends are definitely Tilburyans, as they're called.
Oh, Tilburyans.
The fair nation of Tilbury, as it's called.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love. See, that's like the stuff. I love how like.
No, they have like crazy traditions. They're super fun people. They do a annual rugby game called.
Oh, that's cool.
Tilbury versus the world. And so it's Tilbury.
Dude, this is just so. Can I just stop? Like, how beautiful is that? Like, how beautiful? Like, man, I'm getting jealous.
It's called the Dealey Cup. The Dealey Cup is well known and it's a huge thing. They always play it on Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah. It's played on Super Bowl Sunday. They have a gigantic dinner the day before to explain the rules to everyone. Mm-hmm. And I've personally never played in it because I'd get wrecked, and like people have been known to get like really bad injuries from the Dealey Cup. But yeah, they have their fun, crazy things that they do. The Fratican, like I would say we don't fill that niche as much as they do fill the niche of like just kind of being really like fun and crazy, kooky. Yeah. We're more, like I say, we're really trying to aim to imitate a fraternity.
Yeah. How, like how the fraternities started at and what of their peak of what they should be. Yeah. You're trying to epitomize what a fraternity ought to be.
Whereas I'm not. I mean,
and they are too.
I don't
in their
know
own way.
what Tilbury's kind of philosophy around this is, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily their main goal. Mm-hmm. But I think that's kind of more where that's
the beauty of it.
The Fratican is kind of aiming for, is really trying to hone in on what a real fraternity looks like, not just drinking and getting drunk and girls and things like that.
Ridiculousness.
Yeah, so I would say that's kind of where the difference lies. I can't speak about the Manor and Talitha, but I would say that,
For the audience, the Manor and Talitha are what?
Those are the women's houses. So Tilbury and Fratican, men's houses. Manor, Talitha, women's houses. I would say that...
was Lily in one of those?
No, Lily was not. She was a commuter student.
Okay, she lived at house.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Well, she lived with her parents at home.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this would get me into trouble, but I would
just say it anyway.
Manor is
the stakes are very low.
Manor is to Tilbury as Fratican Talitha is to Fratican. Okay. I would say it's a similar
mesh there.
There was a point in time where when the Talitha was getting started, there were advocates of trying to get Talitha to actually name their house the Sororatory.
Dude, that's a great name.
But they were like, no, we're not doing that.
That is kind of like, I don't know. I feel like some of the nerdy stuff is like too masculine. I don't know. I feel like men are just way nerdier than girls.
Maybe. I don't know. But they wanted to be. They didn't.
Sororatory?
They didn't want to.
They
didn't want to be the sororatory.
Yeah.
That which is unfortunate.
What is Talitha then? Is that just the street, or is that
Talitha Kum?
I don't know anything.
Talitha Kum. It's a scripture verse. It means "little girl, come."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's where it's from.
That's cool. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So those are the differences, I would say.
That's cool. At least it's kind of get more sense of the two differences now. Like, but yeah. So like you guys did your Fratican thing, and what? Like, so you guys would put on events during a semester.
I'm trying to think of
parties. You do things.
Other events that we're doing.
What other things did you guys do with? It was kind of like.
So
was Focus
like,
really heavily involved with the Fratican, Tilbury, and all that
stuff?
Or
Focus
they
did their own
participated with those people?
I think there was something really cool that we had at Pitt, where everyone was their own thing. So like Fratican was their own thing, Tilbury was their own thing, Focus does their own thing, Oratory does their own thing. Everyone is independently doing their own things, but the community is so cooperative with each other and willing to work with each other on everything. And so of course Fratican is helping Tilbury with stuff. Tilbury's helping Fratican with stuff.
Manor, Talitha.
Yeah, all of that is happening, and then Focus is getting in there. We're all helping with that stuff. And then all with the Oratory as well. But we're all still uniquely in our identity.
Yeah,
of
you're
different,
still maintaining your uniqueness. And
other things that we did is outreach events. You know, we helped out a lot with outreach. So like big thing is we loved to put on for men's night, like cigar nights. So cigars. That was always really fun.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't personally smoke. I just can't stand the smell of it. But
me neither.
I would hang out with, of course, I'd hang out with my friends. Yeah. And I always had fun at our cigar nights. Like, I wouldn't miss a cigar night for the world. But
it just wasn't your thing.
It was great.
At the Citadel, we had, like, it's called the Smoke and Joke. And every Thanksgiving was the Smoke and Joke. And it's where knobs could just be people for an hour. And people would smoke cigars there. Mm-hmm. And they'd be able to, you know, bring the knobs down, and they could actually talk in the first person, not the third. Yeah. Have this fun thing, and then they would roast the sophomores. That's where the joke comes in. Like, the upperclassmen would, like, feed these knobs who are, like, the lowest of the low jokes to roast the sophomores. It was the most... It was great.
So, it was great. When I would volunteer at, like, the activities fair that was advertising all the clubs and stuff, and we would be advertising our cigar night for men. So how do you get people to come to a Catholic club?
Do cool things.
You don't say, hey, come join our Catholic club.
Hey, man.
You go up to them and be like, hey, you like cigars?
Sam.
That's what I'd say. I'd go up, do you like cigars? Okay, come to our cigar night.
Like,
and I just
kind of pique their interest. They're like,
literally, like people at the activities fair were so shocked to be like, "Wait, did you just ask me if I like cigars?" Like, I like cigars. I like smoking. Here's a club for you.
There you go. You too can have a club. That's
so. Yeah, I would invite. That's how I'd invite people to our cigar nights.
Cigar nights.
We do things like that. Yeah.
What were some other what were some key big events? Do you guys do everything once a year? Was there some things you try to make more annual, weekly, semester? Was there some sort of like big event? All right, Fratican's doing this.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like
not for the entire community, but the Fratican itself, and well as Tilbury, we had our own retreats, which was super cool.
That sounds really cool.
Like, obviously, the oratory ran a bunch of retreats for students.
Yeah.
And they have a beautiful retreat house.
Oh, yeah? Where's their retreat house?
In Ligonier, PA.
Oh, dude, that's where my sister-in-law's from. That's where my brother John's wife is from, Ligonier, PA.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Shout out Abby and John.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's from Ligonier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost 100% sure. If I'm not, this is like really embarrassing, but I'm 100% sure.
Yeah, so out in Ligonier, it's about 45 to an hour away from Pitt's campus, so it's far out there. It's in the middle of nowhere. They have this gigantic property that has a beautiful chapel, like, I don't know how many beds, like, they have bunks galore.
That's cool.
Bunks upstairs for the women and bunks in the basement for men.
That's cool.
And they run retreats for the students out there. And it's just beautiful. It's called Rednall. We call it Rednall.
Okay.
I don't know why it's called Rednall, but it's called Rednall.
It's its name.
Yeah. And Rednall was a great thing. They, beautiful nature to just walk around. Priests would give talks. There'd be adoration, mass, confession opportunities. And the retreats would be themed and stuff. But the Fratican in Tilbury, we would have a Fratican retreat, and that was a retreat where the Fratican got Rednall all to itself, or Tilbury got Rednall so cool. all to itself, and we would run the retreat. We'd have a priest there.
Yeah, to do
people
mass,
would make people would give talks. Thing like that.
That's so cool.
So fun. And we'd have overnight adoration, and we'd all take hours.
You were telling me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd always take the 3 a.m. because that's my favorite hour.
Did you tell me that you did it with people? Like you had your battle buddy that you did that with?
Yeah.
Or was that something else? Was that a different thing?
You wouldn't have enough guys at the Fratican retreat necessarily to have a battle, but at regular retreats, yeah. You do it maybe sometimes with someone else, sign up with someone else. So retreats were always huge. Those were big. The other thing was at Rednall. Excuse me.
You're good.
They would put on. This is just kind of like a fun thing, but our yearly October kind of fall festival called Barn Dance. And Barn Dance, so Rednall has a barn on the property.
Yeah.
And they'd hire a square dance DJ.
I just sorry, pause. You just said that, and I spiritually just felt, not really, I'm being hyperbolic. Kendra go, square dance.
Yeah.
Barn dance.
They'd hire a square dance caller, and then apple bobbing, limbo. I won apple bobbing one year, and I also won limbo one year.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like
of
you had an advantage.
I did have an advantage, but the girl who always won
wasn't there.
had a broken leg.
Oh. Alright, so it's like asterisks. Lewis won asterisks because the lady that wins wasn't there. Oh man.
But I like to say I'm a prime apple bobber.
Writes that on it. What are some skills, resume? Prime apple bobber. Sir, please explain what prime apple bobber is. I don't know how that applies to this job whatsoever. Let me tell you what. The one's lady's leg was broken. I took home the championship. That means nothing to us.
Yeah. I mean, like...
I'd like to call myself a prime apple bobber.
Yeah, I was good, man. Very intense. I would
freaking love you, Lewis.
I mean, and we took it so seriously. Like, it was a very serious tournament. And a lot of it, kind of in jest, but also not in jest. It's like, you want to win this.
Yeah.
So it's
you want the bragging rights to the thing that literally has no bragging rights.
Like one of our priests,
you want the bragging rights.
One of our priests, his name's Father Josh. He would be the one who would referee the apple bobbing. And he'd be like, okay, gentlemen, arms behind your back.
You just say it so serious.
Now, at the end of count of 3, Bob, okay?
I wouldn't be able to hold
and I'll be there. I'll be like,
Oh my god.
Stretching out my jaw, getting ready, eyeing the apple that I'm gonna go for.
It's like that meme with all the math going, and it's floating at a velocity of whatever. I need to go in with a velocity of this, crunch down hard with this amount of pressure with my teeth, then get it.
Yeah, and the trick is because the apples are always moving, so you need to time when an apple is going to end up right there against the wall of the bucket at the end of the count of 3. So then at the end of count of 3, you just go down, you
bite it
as wide as you can, press it in, bite down, press it into the wall of the bucket, bite, and up. And I could do it like that. I don't know.
I've never even done apple.
That's
just
the strategy.
Rip it out and like throw it. Like
I just.
What do you do? And you gulped it and one down.
Yeah, just down and up. That's how it happens sometimes. It was literally down.
So what do you do with it? You have it in your mouth. You like throw it over your head. What do you do?
Well, I mean, once you're up, it's whoever's up first wins the apple bobbing.
So it's just one thing.
You just get the apple.
I've never done apple bomb, so I just
this is the way we did it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's different other.
You didn't know the national rules.
I don't.
The international bobbing.
Yeah,
league.
I haven't played in other circuits.
It's the American apple bobbing league.
So,
it's coming to get you.
Yeah, I've only played in the Northeast region, so.
Yeah, I guess.
But that career is behind.
Yeah.
So that was a super fun event. You meet a ton of new people there. Square dancing is a lot of fun. That's where I met Lily.
Yeah, dude, I'm so glad that you brought that up.
Of course.
Dude, I forgot to bring that up because I wanted to bring it up before we even got into the Fratican
stuff.
Oh,
really? How I met my wife?
Like, that's what I always do. Like, I've done this interview to one other person, so I guess, still 100%. Ask Jeff, how do you meet Kathy? So,
yeah.
How'd you meet Lily?
I met Lily at Barn Dance. It was amazing. I wasn't thinking about dating her at the time, but I met her, I noticed her, and I was like, I like her. And then
it's a little more depth. So you saw her from across the way, like eyes.
Well, I arrived a little early.
Okay.
And I walk into the retreat house.
It was
I walk into the retreat house, and she's just across the room, and I'm just like, oh, she's pretty.
Have you seen her before? This is the first time seeing her?
No, this was my first time kind of really noticing her.
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah, she's pretty, but I wasn't interested in her at the time. I was interested in someone else, and so I didn't think much of it. But I thought, oh, she's pretty.
Oh, she's pretty. Yeah.
And I talked to her a little bit that day. I learned about her interest in plants and that she was studying plant biology, and yeah. From there, we didn't have too much interaction at that point, but things started to pick up probably around, late senior year.
Okay.
Wait,
so you went to this dance your senior year or your junior year? This happened when you first saw her.
Barn Dance. I went to Barn Dance every year.
Yeah, but when you saw her, we're talking about how you
probably
met her.
This was my junior year.
When you first saw her.
That's when I first saw her. She
Okay,
saw me earlier and
she was stalking you. Yeah.
Remembers me from earlier.
Yeah.
But so she some point in mid to late of the spring semester of my senior year, I'm just, my eye just kind of got caught on her again. We had, before that, there was another big event, was the Manor always put on White Elephant gift exchange for
Yankee Swap
Christmas, and Lily stole my Zelda puzzle.
I would not.
I cried, like in the room in front of everyone. I mean, it was fake crying, but it wasn't.
Okay, I was about to say, like, if you cried over some Zelda thing, I'm like,
dude, it was crazy because
respect lost.
Pat was like, dude, the gift that I'm putting in for the White Elephant gift exchange, you would love it. Pat was like, you're gonna love it. And I'm like, there's no way I'm getting your gift because there's like 30 people involved in this. Yeah. I just happened to pick out his gift.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lily stole it.
Yeah.
Lily took it. We built it together after the White Elephant gift party. We built it together. I got her phone number, and she sent me a photo of the puzzle that we built together. Then she took the puzzle, and then she re-gifted it to me when we were dating.
Wow.
The next Christmas.
Dude, that's so cool. Use that as kind of your way in there. Like,
yeah.
You like walk up to her. Oh, like, thanks for stealing my puzzle. I got my eye on this thing. You're gonna have to give me your number.
I think that's when I was like, kind of first maybe thought of something, but it wasn't quite there yet. Mm-hmm. And then somewhere in that spring semester, I started to notice her more. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know her very well at the time.
What grabbed your attention about it? Was her faith?
She wasn't around a lot because she was a commuter student.
Okay,
It was really just like, I think this woman is beautiful, and I think that's a call to get to know her better. Mm-hmm. And so it was interesting because it was the first time I had ever thought about dating someone who wasn't my friend beforehand, because everyone I dated
was your friend
was my friend beforehand, or had asked on dates was my friend beforehand. And I was fairly staunch about like,
they need to be my friend.
We need to be friends before we can date.
5 years.
And it's like, and that was actually a huge hurdle. It's like, am I willing to go out on this limb to like date this girl I don't even know?
To go on a date with her? Or
well, like thinking, because it was from the onset of the relationship. Like, I wasn't just thinking about being her friend.
Yeah.
I wanted to date her.
Date her.
And so I was like, but I feel like I need to be her friend. And then I was like,
just go for it, Chief.
I don't have, I mean, one, I was a senior, and two, like, I was like, no, that's just not where I'm at right now with it. So I was like, I'm going to get to know her for 2 weeks. And at the end of those 2 weeks, if what I get to know about her is something that interests me, then I'll ask her on a date. And so we had spring soiree, another great
what's a soiree?
Event. Soiree is French for dance. No, I have no clue, but it is French.
Dude, I feel like you could have just left it there, and I totally would believe it.
I have no clue. It's like a...
Let's just say it's French.
It's like an uppity dance.
Yeah.
Like a formal... It's French.
A formal
it's
dance.
Okay?
So, for those of you who don't know Lewis, he's actually a walking encyclopedia. Him and Lily both, especially with Catholic stuff.
Yeah. Lily is very good with the English language because she reads so much.
Dude, I didn't realize how much like you guys read, or I perceive you guys to read after like helping you load those books and those boxes. I was like, dang, like I thought my small little library in the next room was like, I have a lot of books, and then I go to like your apartment for the first time, like, that's a lot of books. Like, that's a lot of books. Like I only organized 3 boxes. There was probably like 5
There's
more.
Like 2 boxes in our storage unit down in Huntington that we couldn't fit into our apartment. But
what a problem to have.
I know, right? So
anyway, back to it.
Yeah. I gave myself this 2-week timeline. Spring soiree was coming up. I had convinced her to go to spring soiree, although she doesn't remember that. She was sitting down in the oratory basement, and I was like, you should go. You really should. She's like, I got to go home and get a dress. And I was like, you should go. And I convinced her. And I didn't know at the time, but she was interested in me, too, at that point. And then, I did work study at the oratory, and then I realized, wait, I work tonight at the front desk of the oratory.
You sent Lily to a dance that you weren't even with me yet.
Yeah. So I go to work, and one of the brothers from the oratory is like, dude, it's your senior year. You should go to the spring soiree. Like, you need to go.
Thank
I'm
God.
Like, dude, no. I can't bail on work. Like, I just can't do that. I was scheduled for tonight, and I can't bail on it. Like, I need to hold to my duties. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, dude, it's your senior year. You got to go. Yeah. You're going to dance with the woman you marry tonight.
Dude, did he seriously say that?
He seriously said that.
Oh, my God.
Dude,
I love that.
This is also the brother that was super into magic tricks and did a prediction of one of the Focus missionaries' child's name and put that prediction in my backpack, had me reach out of my backpack 3 months later once the baby was born, and he got it basically dead on.
How do you... It's either dead on or it's not. Like, what do you mean basically dead on?
One of the names was a variant.
Okay, that's pretty. That's still pretty impressive.
It was.
What's the name?
Oh, gosh, Leo. I don't remember the middle name, but
it was Leo something.
Leo something.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's good at making predictions.
Seems like it.
And so he told me, "You're gonna dance with the woman you marry tonight," and so I hop up, I run home to the Fratican, put on my suit and tie, run to the spring soiree, and get in line. They're still going through the instruction for swing dancing because that's what they do. They do swing dancing. And they're going through the instruction, and during the instruction portion, everyone's in a line, and you kind of swap partners throughout. And Lily was the second girl that ended up right in front of me, and she was like, "Oh,
ahoy,
you're there." So that was really beautiful, and I wanted to ask her to dance.
Yeah, did you?
Through the rest of the night, and I didn't.
Oh, this story was going so. It's still so good, but I'm like, you should have.
I was like so nervous.
Cinderella moment.
I was so nervous, and she really wanted me to ask her to dance.
Oh,
I know that now.
Yeah, obviously.
And I didn't. But I'm almost kind of glad that I didn't because it could have been very awkward and had ruined everything.
How did it be awkward?
I don't know because...
Will you dance with me? And she goes, yes, I've literally been waiting for you to dance.
It's really hard to talk to people while you're dancing. It's like one of those like weird kind of awkward things where it's like, okay, what do we talk... Especially if it's someone you don't really know very well. You know, it's...
I guess
so I felt like it could have... But...
It's all good.
Point is, after
it all worked out,
we ended up talking for the rest of the evening.
Oh, nice.
As cleanup was happening.
Oh yeah.
At the spring soiree, so we were talking and yeah, and then the next day was Manor had another event called Coffee House, which is like a talent show type deal. And she sang...
Wait, is Manor the one is the one with Tilbury, you would say, equate it to?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to get it straight.
I guess. Manor throws Coffee House. It's like a talent show with snacks and food and stuff. And it's a lot of fun. And people sign up with their acts. And Lily sang a song from The Lord of the Rings. And it was...
And that's what got you.
Captivating.
That's what got you. She was singing that, and you were just like, "I'm struck. I need."
And then afterwards,
marry this woman, and we're gonna have.
And then afterwards, I proceeded to impress her by showing her my trip to Oxford, where I went to J.R.R. Tolkien's house, and I was like, "I went to J.R.R. Tolkien's house. I also went to the J.R.R. Tolkien exhibit." At the Oxford Library.
Oh my god, I love you guys so much. You gotta be like hands down.
And that's how I impressed her.
Yeah, and she's like,
and she was like
swooning at that point. She's like, oh my god.
She was like, that's so impressive.
This man went to see a place that I really think is impressive. I must marry him.
Yeah, and then about a week later, that's when I asked her. No, asked her out. I asked her out at another one of our events called Dollar Dinner, which was a dinner every Friday.
Yeah.
Pasta dinner. It's not the greatest food ever, but it's $1.
Yeah.
And it's with friends and fellowship, and it's a lot of fun. And so I asked her out after Dollar Dinner.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's cool. And then you got married and have a kid now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's exciting. That's awesome. But yeah, I feel like How are we doing with time, Nathan?
So we're at hour 42.
Outstanding. When do you need to?
I probably should
go soon. All right, so we can wrap this up. So
sure.
We have so much more to
I
talk about.
I have to tell the PAA story.
Okay, PAA. Then we're gonna go into we can just leave that all in. We don't need to worry about editing it. We can just a final thing. We'll do the PAA. Then I'll ask you what would you recommend to students going to a college campus? What should they be doing? What should they be looking into? But go through the PAA story.
So, PAA. I've mentioned before, that was my first place that I lived with in the Fratican. Mm-hmm. The PAA stands for the Pittsburgh Athletic Association. It was
legendary,
historic landmark in the middle of Oakland on Pitt's campus. It's an athletic club. They have sauna, or had saunas. They had steam rooms, lounge, really cool lounge areas, a gym, a basketball court, a swimming pool. It was
a lot. Yeah,
pretty uppity YMCA. Okay. Basically, uppity YMCA. However, this place was not doing well financially.
I love your use of the word uppity.
Yeah.
It's not a thing I'm used to. That's so funny. Anyway,
yeah, they were not doing financially well because membership was going down.
Yeah.
People weren't joining these organizations because they're kind of old-fashioned.
Yeah.
At this point, and they did not let us know how bad their finances were when we started living there. We paid our rent checks. And my first rent check did not get cashed for 6 months. I'm what is happening?
Yeah.
It's if they never cashed my rent, okay, fine. I'm living here for free.
Yeah.
But it was great. We had a gym, all the things that you want. A gym, a basketball court.
Oh, dude. So all that came with it. All that came with it.
Yeah, we basically had memberships. They had a restaurant, and we had $25 a month to spend included in our rent to spend at their restaurant.
Come on, Pittsburgh Athletic Association.
And
bring it back.
And the restaurant definitely had some health violations.
Okay.
And yeah, for sure, health violations. Mm-hmm. But I would work out. I would use the saunas all the time. The saunas were great. You want to talk about daily routine?
Sauna was it?
I woke up, go to the sauna, go into first I'd go to the steam room because if you know the difference, the steam.
I don't know any difference.
A sauna is dry and hot. A steam room is hot steam. Make sense?
Sure.
So it's very dry inside a sauna. Mm-hmm. There's no moisture at all. So I'd go in
steam room, obviously a lot of moisture.
I'd go into the steam room and spend a little bit of time there and then go hang out in the sauna to dry off and then go back upstairs and get ready for the day. Talk about the college life.
Dude, you had a very unique college experience.
Oh my
gosh. So what happened with the PA?
So by the time spring of my sophomore year, we learned that their finances are a lot worse than we could have ever imagined. And they go out of business while we're living there. Our water gets shut off a couple of times. Our electricity gets shut off. I was taking showers in the student union.
Oh wow.
Which were very nice showers, by the way.
Yeah.
Beautiful showers. So I was taking showers in the student union. Yeah, so they go out of business and the Fratican's basically homeless. We have no place to stay because you can't stay in a place where there's no water and no electricity.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of difficult.
It was
seemed
really bad.
Essentials.
Like the bathrooms were smelling really bad because you couldn't flush them. Gosh, anyway. It was crazy. So the manor actually made us an eviction cake.
That's awesome.
Congrats on getting evicted, I think it said, or something like that.
You were on the news, right?
I was on the news. The news came.
You should like send Nathan that video to play.
Oh my gosh,
it's pretty funny.
No.
Did you see it? Have you seen that video?
I was.
It's pretty funny.
I was on the news, and they're like, I don't even remember what they asked, but the one thing they decided to show me saying was, "It's sad to see something like this go downhill because it is cool." And there was just like this really weird, awkward pause in between me saying, "It is cool." And so that became like a Newman meme. And a couple of friends eventually also got me a cake that just said, "It is cool" on it. And that was pretty funny.
Just said so many other things, some intelligent things. They
but
just go.
It was pretty dope.
Yeah, it's like, pretty cool.
It was pretty crazy. It was like after that. So like the oratory, they owned a library, or didn't own, but they were affiliated with a library that was across the street from the Newman Center, and this was the Newman Institute, and this is, I believe, the world's largest collection of works by or on St. John Henry Newman.
That's cool.
And from what I understand, one of the priests at the oratory was super devoted to Newman, was actually quite involved with the canonization. Or like supporting that cause for the canonization of St. John Henry Newman. So the Newman Institute would like house like scholars that are studying Newman. So they had bedrooms and stuff.
So that's where you guys.
So quite a few of us ended up getting put up in the Newman Institute, and it was beautiful because like we had this like kind of pretty ornate like library that we were living in. Yeah, it was just a bunch of like,
that's kind of cool,
crazy college students, and it was really fun. And it was the first time I ever watched Good Burger, was when we were living there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was really
fun. I've never
fun.
seen Good Burger.
Oh, Good Burger. Welcome to Good Burger, the home of the Good Burger. May I take your order, please? It's so funny.
I've never seen it.
It's a beautiful movie. But
anyway.
Yeah. So that's what happened. Yeah. And then after that, we were scrambling to find a new place. Diaspora. We're all living in we had 3 different Fratican houses in different parts of Oakland, and then joined back together in my senior year at the current house that they're living in. And yeah,
there you go.
It's been history.
That's cool. All right, so to finish up, what would you look at the camera?
Okay, the camera.
Okay. What would you say to anybody going to college? Like, what are some essentials? What are some essentials to building and keeping your faith? What would you encourage them? Like, how would you encourage them? What would some advice you give?
So it's hard because like every single person's situation is very different. Some people are going into college knowing they want to keep their faith. Some people are not knowing they want to keep their faith. So I'd give different advice to different people. But just find good friends first. That's the first thing to do, is find good friends. And, find that community. For me, like I said, I feel like I fell into it. Like, I wasn't seeking...
stumbled upon it.
I stumbled upon it. I knew I wanted to be faithful. I knew I wanted to have a faith. But when I went into college, I wanted to be more involved with, like, humanitarian causes. Like, kind of the volunteering without, like, because
I get what you're saying.
Just kind of doing it, it wasn't based in some kind of belief or something. And so I was looking to get involved with volunteering, and it wasn't satisfying me, the things that I was getting involved with. And I was kind of doing it more for myself rather than
for the cause.
Anything. But first finding that community, and then the rest will kind of follow naturally. You know, have those good friends. Don't get involved with like the degenerate stuff that happens on college campuses. It may seem like, oh, this is your only time to have fun. You absolutely can have fun without all that stuff. Yeah, I had a crazy college experience and none of it was drunk. So like it was so much fun. Drunkenness is a veil, a band-aid
to cover
up actually not being able to make true, real friends who care about you and want you to strive and grow. You know, alcohol is still great. Went out drinking with the Fraticans many times. So yeah, the friendship, the community, and then from there, it all just falls apart. It should fall together, not apart. It should fall into place, as well as, you know, keep seeking to grow, and you know, if you can't do an hour, I'm not saying that an hour you have to be doing an hour every day, or that you have to do daily mass or anything. That was something I did because it was super available and I could do it. But it's way more important to just pray in some capacity. 20 minutes a day is what I've always heard is a good starting point. And if you can't start there, 5 minutes, build it up to 10 minutes, 15. And then that was the thing. At the beginning, 1 hour felt like impossible. But then I realized, like, it's like strength training. The more you practice, the more you become accustomed, and an hour goes by really fast, and you're just there with the Lord, and it's so good. And then same with daily mass. If you can make it to a daily mass once a week, that's a beautiful way to continue your faith and just, have fun in college, but it doesn't need to be debauchery. You can have fun. You know, we're drunk with the Spirit, as the line in Acts of the Apostles.
That's true.
Says so.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it, Big Lou, for coming on, talking about the Fratican. A little more detail this time. Yeah, it was really good. Please like, share, and subscribe. Go to our website, thesalvationgroup.org. Follow us on Instagram, _salvation group, _salvation_group, Facebook, that salvation group. Got anything to plug? Oratory, Fratican, Pit.
Yeah, the Oratory is awesome. I love them. They're absolutely what deepened my faith, and yeah, I just love them. If you're near Pittsburgh or contemplating going to Pitt, find them, and it'll benefit you.
They're pretty dope priests. I met like 3 of them at that Seek conference. They're really awesome. But anyway, thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.